मैं फिर ऐसा करती हूँ, मैंने रुद्राक्ष का भी ना लेवल स्टार्ट करने का सोचा है, तो मैं आपसे उस बारे में फिर एक बार 2:30 या 2:45 तक डिस्कस करती हूँ, ठीक है? चलो, ऑल राइट आंटी, आप इसको बोलना जब तक ये कंप्लीट कर ले, ठीक है? ओके आंटी। Hello everyone, how are you all? Can you all listen to me? Can you all listen to me? Hello everyone. Okay, so the topic for today is learn to brainstorm your ideas. So in a couple of minutes we'll be beginning with today's session. Before that, I would request each one of you to talk about their doubts if you have any. Okay. Alright people, do you have any doubts till now? Anything that you would want to discuss maybe? If not, then today's topic is all about learn to brainstorm your ideas for writing task 2. So it's all about how one should plan their writing task 2, specifically in IELTS. So just to begin with, I would want to introduce myself. My name is Shivangi Narula, and often people know me by the name of Shivangi the IELTS trainer. And the reason why it is so is because of the fact that all my social handles are by the same name. So just to tell you and talk about the same, today we are here and we shall discuss about the ideas and the ways to brainstorm so that you can plan and organize your writings accordingly. Good to go? So I think there are some more people who would be joining us in a couple of minutes. So till then, let's wait and hold on. By the time, any doubts, please put it in the comment section. Any questions, people? Alright, so I think it's time for us to begin and let us discuss about how one should plan their writing task too. बात करी जाए राइटिंग टास्क 2 की तो प्लानिंग एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है और प्लानिंग के लिए हमें कुछ आइडियाज़ को ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करना पड़ता है. ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग का क्या मतलब होता है अगर मैं आप लोगों से पूछूं? Brainstorming means that whatever you are trying to do, you are trying to make a list of items or list of ideas that you would want to include, list of ideas that you want to, okay, that you would want to put it in your writings. But then the question is, how should one do that? Yes. So just to discuss all such questions today, we are here and we are going to talk about how one can plan to write task 2. How one can plan to write task 2. So are we good to go? Are we good to go, people? तो जब हम बात करते हैं सबसे पहले कि हमें आइडियाज़ कहाँ से लाने चाहिए, तो आइडियाज़ कहाँ से आते हैं? आपको क्या लगता है आइडियाज़ कहाँ से आते होंगे? Do they come from somewhere? Do we learn them? How do we make them? How do we plan them? So the question here is that whenever we talk about planning our articles, planning our essays for task 1, there are a lot of things that we need to keep in our mind. And these things are the ideas. Before I talk about ideas, there are two things that we should keep in our mind. One is what to write and the second is how to write. What to write and how to write, they are the two most essential things that we need to keep in our mind when I talk about writing task 2. Now when I say writing task 2, planning your ideas means that you have to read a lot of content so that कि आपको टॉपिक के बारे में पता हो. Of course yes, देखो जितने भी टॉपिक साइंस में होते हैं उनके अंदर जो भी टॉपिक्स आते हैं वो ऐसे नहीं होते कि आपने कभी सुने ना हो. मैं सही कह रही हूँ ना? जितने भी टॉपिक्स के बारे में हम बात करते हैं वो टॉपिक्स ऐसे नहीं होते कि आपने कभी भी सुने ना हो. यस, तो ऐसा क्या कर सकते हैं हम या ऐसा हमें क्या करना चाहिए कि हमें ये पता चल जाए कि जो भी हम लिख रहे हैं वो ठीक है या नहीं है. टॉपिक्स तो आपको जैसे कि मैंने बताया कि कुछ ऐसे नहीं है कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा, कुछ ऐसे नहीं है कि आपने कभी सुने ना हो. सब चीज़ें ऐसी ही होंगी जो आपने सुनी होंगी या जो कभी मिलती जुलती होंगी. कभी भी ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा कि आपने कभी सुना ही ना हो या देखा ही ना हो. वो चीज़ मुझे नहीं लगता कि पॉसिबल है. जो भी टॉपिक्स आते हैं बहुत रेलेवेंट होते हैं, बहुत अप टू द डेट होते हैं. एंड जहाँ तक मुझे लगता है ऐसे कोई बड़े टॉपिक्स नहीं है जहाँ पे मैं आपको बोलूँ कि यार यू नो बहुत ज़्यादा है. नॉट रियली. यस, सिमिलरली जब मैं बात करती हूँ आपसे आइडियाज़ को प्लान करने की, अब हम लोग क्या करते हैं ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग के दौरान हम लोग एक चीज़ अपने माइंड में रखते हैं और वो ये होती है कि जितनी बारी भी हम लोगों को जितनी बारी भी हम लोगों को आइडियाज़ लिखने होते हैं हम लोग ऐसे लिखते हैं कि हम लोग आइडियाज़ को ना पहले रफ नोटपैड पे नोट कर लेते हैं, रफ शीट पे. जैसे कि यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है हाउ टू प्लान योर IELTS राइटिंग टास्क 2. सबसे पहली चीज़ है दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन बाय हार्ट एंड सोल. You have to understand the question in such a way that you know कि question हमसे क्या मांग रहा है. So understanding of the question is extremely important. And why is it important is because of the fact कि अगर question नहीं समझ आएगा तो हमें यही नहीं पता होगा कि हमें writing में लिखना क्या है. So question is the first step. Question is the first step in order to know and in order to see whatever we are writing, it has to make सेंस. क्योंकि देखो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हमें एक टॉपिक से रिलेटेड पता हो सकती हैं, बट हमें सारी चीज़ें नहीं लिखनी है, एंड द रीज़न वाई वी आर नॉट सपोज टू राइट इज क्योंकि क्वेश्चन हमसे कुछ लिमिटेड मांग रहे हैं. तो हमें कैसे पता चलेगा कि क्वेश्चन हमसे क्या मांग रहा है? वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. सो आई थिंक कि क्वेश्चन हमसे क्या मांग रहा है एज ऑल्सो वन वेरी गुड रीजन दैट वी नीड टू कीप इन आवर माइंड, एंड दैट इज कि क्वेश्चन हमसे क्या मांग रहा है. हमें ये नहीं सोचना, हमें ये सोचना है कि क्वेश्चन को हमें क्या देना है. आर यू गेटिंग? ऑल ऑफ यू, आर यू गेटिंग दिस? All in all, what you need to keep in your mind is something that is extremely important. That is extremely important is reading of the question, because at the end of the day, if you will not read the question properly, you would not be in a position to maybe brainstorm it, or maybe write some ideas, or maybe plan the paragraphs around that particular topic. So brainstorming includes taking down small short notes about the ideas that are popping in your mind, and once you plan those ideas, once you make a note of all of them, the second thing that you have to do is how you're going to structure it. तो आज शाम की जो हमारी क्लास है वो स्ट्रक्चरिंग के ऊपर है, जो मैं आपकी 6:15 बजे क्लास लूँगी. सो आई थिंक दैट क्लास इज गोइंग टू बी ऑल अबाउट how to structure your essays. तो again structuring is equally important. आपने brainstorming कर ली, right? You got an idea, you got a gist of how one can brainstorm. Once the brainstorming is done, the second thing that you need to keep in mind is how you're going to organize it. So for organizing, we have planned a separate class, but as of now, if I talk about only one simple thing, that is how to plan. So planning just includes one short thing, that is making and taking down some related ideas about the topic. All right? Is that all right with everyone? Okay, a step-by-step guide to understand how one can actually plan to write a good paragraph. Understanding the types of question being asked. So when I talk about understanding the ideas, we need to understand that there are 3 main types of questions that we have seen. In most of the classes I have been showing you a lot of things regarding the type of questions. So the questions, how many types of questions do we have? Once we are clear with the idea कि हमारे पास कितने types of questions हैं, it becomes easier for us to maybe check and maybe think about कि हमें किस तरीके से उसको frame करना है. So at the end of the day, it's not about how one can do it, it's about how one should do it. Can has a lot of aspects, but should is something which is like way too less. And how का parameter अगर मैं बात करूँ, तो there are a lot of things that comes to our mind. And again, when you plan to write a paragraph, there are 2 other things that again come into picture, and they are कि पहला question कौन सा है according to the question type. According to the question type, you would be brainstorming. Now the only thing that happens to be here is not just the brainstorming, but also what to brainstorm. what to write, how to take it about. So a lot of things come into picture. The only thing that we should and we have to keep in our mind is something which is good to go. Alright? Alright everyone? Okay. Then comes choosing the ideas. As I told you that there are some good things that we need to keep in our mind, and that is brainstorming ideas, specific and general ideas. So what do you understand by general idea and what do you understand by specific idea? These are the two important things that you must understand if you're planning to maybe take or talk about IELTS. Yes. आइडियाज दो तरह के होते हैं. आइडियाज आर ऑफ two types. And what are these ideas and how do they differentiate? So when I say ideas are of two types, now what all things come to your mind? कितने टाइप के आइडियाज होंगे? Anyone who has anything to say here maybe? Yes. There are two types of ideas, and these two types of ideas are general training and academics. These two types of ideas are general training and academics. And when I say general training and academics, what do we need to keep in our mind? Something that we need to keep in our mind is about how we are going to make a proper use of that particular idea and how we are going to make it look in such a way that it gives more value to what we are saying and writing. Am I correct? Am I correct, people? Yes, people, do you have anything to maybe ask or say? Okay. Brainstorming ideas. Let your mind wander for 30 to 60 seconds with all the possible ideas that instantly come to your mind. There is no need to make notes here. Just mentally explore the types and the kinds of ideas that you get. Now, when I say types and kinds of the ideas that you get, what do you think you need to ensure? What do you think you have to keep in mind? So, something that you need to keep in your mind is something that is very important, and that is, what is that? Those are the ideas which are going to be related from the topic. Now, what is this topic, by the way, if I may ask you? The topic that we are trying to say and that we are trying to talk about is something which is what? Something that we are trying to talk, something that we are trying to put here is about the fact that whatsoever we are trying to do is something that we are trying to plan our ideas, and we are trying to make a note of everything and anything that we have got so that things become sorted for us in future. Am I right? Am I right, people? Okay. So now when I say choosing the ideas, how do we choose the ideas? Just like I told you that there are two types of ideas. General ideas and specific ideas. Now when I say general ideas and specific ideas, what is different? Specific ideas are more in terms of giving away the thesis statement, and general ideas are used for explanation purposes. And when I talk about brainstorming, you should be pretty clear about how you have to go about with the term called brainstorming. So when I say brainstorming, it's not just about general idea, or it's not just about specific idea, it's also about one big fact, and that is writing your essays in such a way that it makes effective arguments. Now, what are these effective arguments? These effective arguments are, they are something which are very, very important in terms of, giving direction and giving away what the paragraph really looks for. So again, very good suggestion that whenever you're brainstorming, keep this in your mind, that in whatever ways you're planning, just ensure that your planning should be in such a way that it will eventually make effective arguments. What are effective arguments, if I may ask you? Anyone who knows what you understand by the term effective arguments? Anyone? Maybe yes, maybe no, anything? Okay, so effective arguments are those arguments which are formed, one, by using what? So they have a general idea, so they have a statement, then they have an explanation for that, and then post that, what do they have? They have some examples. So statements, explanation and examples. Statements, explanation and examples, they are something which are very, very important, specifically when we talk about paragraphs. So जब भी paragraphs बनाओगे, सिर्फ ये मत सोचना कि हमें सिर्फ और सिर्फ पैराग्राफ बनाना है. प्लीज़ अपने माइंड में ये ज़रूर रखना that whatsoever you are doing, you should keep this in your mind that you have to create effective arguments. And how are effective arguments created? Effective arguments are created by the fact that you are trying to bind each and every part of what you are saying in such a way that it makes true sense, for the reader. All right. Yes. So, anything that you want to ask? Anything that you have in mind? Yes, people, anything? Okay, can I explain this idea with reasons and examples? Just like I said that whenever we talk about ideas, there are two types of ideas, general ideas and specific ideas. And when I talk about arguments, again, you have to make effective arguments. How are effective arguments created is something that we have discussed just now. So now, if at all you have anything to ask, anything to say maybe, or anything that you would want to talk about, I would love to discuss that. So effective ways to brainstorm is, number one, that you should make rough notes for whatever you are getting in your mind. Don't make long notes, just make short sentences, short notes, so that things become easier for you. In terms of things become easier in terms of how we are trying to approach the reader, because the way and the things that you will be writing is something which is going to eventually, whatever you're writing, whatever you're talking about, things would eventually talk and discuss about your approach in front of the reader. And who's our reader here? Our reader is our examiner, who's going to give us marks. Okay, now when I say that you have something like writing ideas and example generation, brainstorming के दौरान examples को generate करना, examples को लिखना is again very very important. And the fact why it is very very important is because without writing, it is because without writing the examples, you cannot make effective arguments, as I stated. So it's not just about writing ideas, it's also about generating examples. So in whatever ways, in whichever ways you're trying to generate examples, please be very careful that examples have to be related. They can be general, they can be specific, but whatsoever they are, you have to ensure that they are good to put in your writings. Fair enough, guys? And I think you should spend good amount of time in brainstorming, at least 5-7 minutes, so that whatsoever you're brainstorming, it turns out to be effective, not in terms of the marks or bands, but also in terms of the meaning that you would be generating and you would have, which will eventually help you to also understand that you are. Yes? So anything that you have here? Should we move now? Any questions, people? Anything that you have in mind? Anything that you would want to discuss? Should we... Now I would want you to just have a look at the PDF. You may go through the PDF. By the time we are left with 1 or 2 more minutes, wherein I would give you a chance to have a look at the PDF that is there in front of you, and then we shall meet each other at 5:30. Alright everyone, if you have no doubts, which means that we are good to go. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Let's connect at 5:30. Sorry, 6:15. I'm so sorry. The timing is 6:15.